Here we are now with our brand new series where we are going to focus on SOC Analyst. And in this first video, we are going to see what this series is going to be all about and the platform that we are going to focus with throughout this series. Remember, we have different series in this channel. The first one that was talking about cybersecurity control, which is the fundamental one, and of course it's not ending, it's still continuing. But also we have two specialization series, one for ethical hacking and this one now for SOC analysis, because these two are the most common career path for cybersecurity. Of course, there are other career paths, but this one are the most common one. So we are going also to evolve ourselves, the practical side and the techniques and the tools that we need for both of them. So this one now is about SOC analysis, and of course, at the end of the series, we are going to know the platform that we are going to use, which is Security Onion, and how to installing it, because installing Security Onion has two parts. We are going to do in this video, we are going to do the first part, then the next videos we are going to finish the other part, and of course starting to use it. So actually, what is SOC Analyst before going further? SOC is just an acronym for Security Operations Center. It means this is the unit of professional, you can say it's a department or unit of people, even a single person, depending on the maturity of the organization and the complexity of cybersecurity requirements. So it's a unit that has professional specialized in cybersecurity. So all cybersecurity operation is centered in this unit. That's all about Security Operations Center. So if we talk about SOC analysis, now we are talking about those particular professionals that now they have special skills and special tool sets focusing on monitoring their whole network infrastructure or whole digital assets, but also detecting, investigating, reporting, and documenting cybersecurity incidents within an organization. We have seen in our fundamental series that we have offensive cybersecurity approach and we have defensive, and both of them are important. You can't stay with one then leaving the other. So in this series now, we are going to focus on the defensive approach, where we have this specialized group of people with specialized tools and technologies and skills for continuously monitoring the organization infrastructure, for detecting, responding, reporting, and documenting any cybersecurity incident. And we say that this is also useful, though the offensive approach is the most common one today, but this is also useful because if you employ a penetration tester in your given organization, anything that given person is going to discover will depend on the level of his skills. Now, you have to understanding cybersecurity is different from other fields of IT, because if you are a developer, you just have requirement that are your scope. If you realize them, you are done. But for the cybersecurity, you are not tested based on the scope of your skills, on the scope of your organization cybersecurity program. The whole world is testing you. So you may have a well-renowned penetration tester doing the things and giving you a report and fixing it, but sometimes later comes someone who is more skilled than your penetration tester, then even breaching you. So if you don't have this other leg of cybersecurity, you will also be in a disadvantageous position. That's why we need them all. And this is now is going to focus on this defensive approach, which is all about security operation and their analysis. So these people, to do or to achieve their objective, they need specialized tools and skills, as they are always needed in different discipline of studies or even in IT itself. So we talked about a brief introduction of SOC and SOC analysis. Now, why Security Onion, or what is Security Onion? So we said that we need specialized skills and of course and tools. There are different platforms that we can use to realize this SOC, Security Operations Center, and doing the analysis with them. And of course, some of them are commercial, some of them are open source. So this Security Onion is one of the platforms. So this one is an open source one. And I've been telling you, of course, in many of my videos, that having a tool being labeled as open source does not mean that it is less efficient. You just have to be doing your homework, having enough research, sometimes you may have for your given problem an open source solution that is more reliable and more efficient than the cost commercial version. So don't just tell it because an open source then it's not that useful. For instance, this security union, you are going to see it's very, very, very useful platform. And these guys have called it security onion because we know onion has layers. So the way they have approached cyber security defense is by focusing on those layers. For instance, taking the example of this image, this is like an onion. It has different areas. You have physical security, you have network security. There are other security levels that have not been mentioned here. But apart from network security, you may have host security. Then you may have operating system security. Then you may have application security. And of course, there are different things that you have to do about all these security. You have to have measures or layers for detection, measure or layer for monitoring, for responding, for reporting. So all those layers for you to have all different tools that are responsible for the given layers and to having them and making them working together is a very, very cumbersome work. So these guys of security onion, they have done all those hard work for us. You just have their platform, you just install it, and now focusing on how to use it. It has almost all important cybersecurity tools that you need for your security operation center for the purpose of the detection, monitoring, responding, and of course, all other things that are responsible about incident response management. Even those SIMs mechanism and approach, they are all employed in the same platform. So those tools are bundled for different purposes, like we have seen, some for network visibility, some for host visibility, for intrusion detection, log management, case management, and even analytical tools. So in a nutshell, Security Onion is the platform that can help us to easily realize or implement security operation center in our given organization. So we have one platform, it has a number of tools integrated them together, and of course they have integrated them together by using Elastic Stack ELK. In our fundamental series, we talk about Elastic Stack and implementing it. So now we are starting even to more appreciating the value of it, because all those tools that we are going to see and discussing, they are all being brought together and integrated by the power of Elastic Stack. So we are going to see as we keep on going further and further. So these are some of the common tools that have been bundled in this security onion. And each tool is a specialization by itself. So we are going to discuss them and to see how are we going to practically use them in different scenarios as we keep on evolving this series. And these are some of them. I don't need to read them because you can see them. And I know if you have been involving in cybersecurity in one way or another, some of these tools you have even heard of them or come across of them. So all these tools, they are not working as individual in this security onion platform. They are integrated together. You're using the same graphical user interface to interact with all these tools and managing them and even transfer data from one tool to correlate with another tool. That's the beauty of this solution. So that's it for the introductory part. Then let's go to the second part where we are going to install our security onion. And we have said this installation has two parts. Today we are going to see the first part. Then the next video is going to complete the other part. And of course, now starting to use them. And before we move further, we have a special WhatsApp number at the bottom right of this screen. Whenever you have an issue of what we are covering here and what we'll be covering, you can WhatsApp us and we will respond to you. So let's go now to see how are we going to install Security Onion in our given environment. So let's go back to Google, the brain of the internet, and we can Google now about this Security Onion. Security Onion. Here it is. Then we go to this. So this is their website. And you can have a lot of information about the tools, how they use, and all those stuffs are here. But as we said in this series, this is our focus. We are going to demonstrate and implement them, and of course, and using them and studying them using different cases. I'm sorry. So to download, because that's the focus of this demonstration, you click this software menu item. Then there are different ways for you to deploy these tools. You can use these crowd services, of course, but you will have to pay for them unless you have prepared that you have used the free version. There are different ways. You can start using them if you see that that fits you. Because the other thing about this platform, it kind of needs enough resources. For instance, it needs at least 200 gigabyte of hard disk and at least 16 gigabyte of RAM and at least four cores CPUs for you to use it. Of course, in our case, we are going to see we are installing it and we are going to use even in lesser requirement like 12 GB, 8 GB of RAM, and of course, at least 100 GB of hard disk. So for you guys who you will not have that kind of resources for your given environment, and of course, we are going to use it, the virtual machine to install them. So if you don't have those environment in your given, I mean, you don't have those resources in your given digital asset, your given machines, then you can opt to use this alternative. But for our for our implementation and presentation in this series, we are going to use the virtual machine because there are some caveats that are more understandable in virtual machine than in clouds. You remember for those guys who started the previous series, we went directly to the cloud version because it was faster and it was very efficient in other ways. But for this one, the virtual machine approach is more efficient and more understandable. But as I said, you can use any of this. You just need to have this thing up and running. So for us, we are going to use the VM installation. So you click download, then here is the link where you're going to download your given ISO file. And of course, these are the steps you can verify if it's okay and what, and even doing the installation. You can read that if you want it. But the essence of this series is to tell you how are you going to do all those steps visual. So you can click this link for downloading. And of course, downloading this file is about 15 GB. So you need to have a good internet and of course enough time. So I'm not going to re-download it again because I've already done it. So I'm going to cancel it. But that is how we are going to download it. So if you have downloaded, and of course you need to store it where you can find it. For our case, here it is our security onion ISO file. And as I said, it has like 15.4 GB. So as I advise for those guys who sees that the requirements are high and they can opt for those cloud version. And of course, you can have even the free cloud version. Just do your homework. And of course, if you're stuck, you can consult us by using the WhatsApp number at the bottom right of the screen. We can help you. So there is it for the downloading. Now, the next part is to do the first step of installing this this security onion in our given environment. So for me, I have to remove some machines to make room for it. Yeah. So I have to create a new instance and I can call it, of course, I'm using VirtualBox. So you can follow it if you are using VirtualBox or if you're using hypervisor, you can improvise it and all other those virtualization system. So for VirtualBox, because I'm storing it from ISO file, I'm going to click this new, then naming this new instance that I'm going to install. I can just call it SOC by meaning that it's going to be Security Operation Center. Then the operating system I'm going to store it here is Linux. Then I'm going to click next. And for the memory, I have to have at least 8 GB. And for the CPU, I have to at least 4. It's going to be enough for me. And for this case, next. Then for the hard disk, I use the default version. Then for the space, I will have to have like 100 GB for it. Then next, that's it. Then I'm clicking finishing. The instance is there. But here I've just prepared the instance. I've not yet installed it. So after having it prepared like this one, then it's already highlighted. But if it would have been like this is the highlighted one. I just have to highlight the one that I'm focusing on, then clicking settings. Now I need to go to storage here, then choose this empty, then click here. Here I'm going to locate the ISO file for security only that I've downloaded. For me, I've already used it once, so I can just pick it. But for you, because you are not going to see in the list here, you can see you can collect like choose a disk file where it's going to take you to a browser and you are going to locate it. So for me, it's already there, but you can navigate and locate it where you have downloaded it. So clicking opening, there it is. Then okay, then I'm done for telling it where the installation media, because this step is, I was just telling my instance where is the installation media. Then the instance is there, the media is there, has been shown it there. Then the next step, what I have to do, I have to click start to start my instance so that I can do the installation. There it is. Then I can just press enter because the first option is the one that I need, and waiting for it to proceed now. Remember, this is the first part of the installation. The next video is going to do the second part, which is the configuration now, after the initial installation. Yes, I'm waiting for it to do what is supposed to be done. Yes, yes, yes. The only thing I can do now is just waiting. Yeah, so that's the prompt. If I want to proceed, I just type yes, not place Y, you type it yes as it is. Then here you have to specify your administrator username because this is a Linux distro. Then you need to have a admin username and password for you to log in. So for mine, I'm going to use code Angel and with the password of my choice here. Then I have to confirm password. There it is. Then here is going to take enough time for it to do the installation and the stuff of all the face. So I'm going to pause this video and I will resume it after the next prompt because as I say, it's going to take enough time, a number of minutes to do the first part of the installation. So I pause it until the next prompt that we are seeing in the screen is where I'm going to resume the video. Okay, so that's it. After waiting for the time enough, like 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, it will vary depending on your resources and so and so. So this is the prompt that we are waiting for. If you find like initial install complete, press enter to reboot. It means you are good and you have done this first part of installing this security onion platform and you are given virtual machine. Okay, so for today we end up here. The next video is going to resume from here now to reboot it and to start doing the configuration. That's it for today. Have a nice day.